Welcome to our series of introductions to Climate Advisor board members. I'm delighted to welcome Chris Gerber, CEO and board member, founder and managing partner of Genesis Consulting. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Nice to be with you today.
A pleasure. Chris, could you start giving us a summary of your work experience, background, and history in the industry?
Yes, Alexandra, I can. Thank you for the question. I am a former CEO, senior executive, and board member, having worked for some of the most prominent names in the transformer industry. These include Eskom, South African power utility, ranked at that time as one of the top 5 utilities in the world. The SGB Smit Group, and in particularly Royal Smit, their transformer factory in the Netherlands. ETD Transformers in the Czech Republic, and CG Power Systems in Belgium. I hold a pre- and postgraduate degree and degrees in business management and industrial studies. My master's degree is from the Free University of Brussels. I have experience in general management and have the ability to excel in both strategic and operational matters. I'm also a non-executive board advisor to PTR, the German-based independent and commercial research company, and a member of the Virtual Advisory Board. I occasionally write and publish articles on management and the transformer industry. And lastly, but very importantly, I'm also now an advisor to Coil Winding.
What is a pleasure for us to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you.
And your history with Climate, how many years you have attended, why you attend the show?
Well, this is an interesting one, and it's probably a question down memory lane. I have attended Coil Winding for many years, and my experience with CIME dates back some time. It is certainly the premier trade fair and exhibition fair in Europe for the manufacturers and related products to the transformer industry. And I have been in the transformer industry for the last 15, 20 years. I think Coil Winding has over the years proved to be the ideal place for manufacturers, customers, and suppliers alike to meet. It is convenient for business. It is good to strengthen business relationships. Berlin is also a cost and time effective venue. So meeting in Berlin over a couple of days enables CEOs, strategic and operational managers, engineers, buyers, research and developers to exchange information and even, on the occasion, structured deals. Of late, the conference facilities and the activities have been an additional plus over and above meeting your suppliers or your customers. And this enables engineers and also managers to keep track of the latest innovations or also developments that would influence their businesses.
Thank you so much, and very interesting to hear. And going back to the industry, what are the biggest challenges currently facing? What are the greatest opportunities available at this moment?
I think this is a very relevant one. I think the most significant change would be, without a doubt, the changes in environmental policies and legislation aimed to curtail carbon emissions. The way we think of and have generated and consumed energy will forever change. No one will remain impacted. Secondly, I think the COVID pandemic, and certainly the way this is regulated and enforced by governments all over the world, this has changed the way in which we live, we work, we travel, and consume products. We are now into the second year of the pandemic. The end is unclear. All facets of life are impacted. It is already clear that some industries are facing huge shortages. There is talk of hyperinflation in many industries. And I think it is fair to say that what we have perceived as the normal in the past would certainly no longer prevail and be the normal as we expect and look at the future. What are the greatest opportunities currently available in the industry? I think from a strategic point of view, not all is doom and gloom. A threat to the one industry, sector, or company can also be an opportunity for another. It is up to the corporate managers and directors to interpret these changes in the business environment and react thereupon. Finding alternative sources for energy generation is certainly the greatest opportunity. This debate was again revisited in Scotland with COP26. The rethink of traditional and what is now termed legacy business in generating electricity will create new opportunities. There is the talk of hydrogen energy. We have seen the boom in wind and now solar energy. This will impact differently on alternative sectors and industry. And this is where I think coil winding can play an important part. The participants come from different sectors and different industries. And it is this interaction that I think is key in not only understanding the challenges in the business environment, but also keep track of the products available and certainly the new innovations. This new innovation, no doubt, will stimulate the economy also. We have seen this in electrical vehicles and related markets, and huge strides have been made in new ways of electrical generation and electrical use. I think the challenge would be to ensure that this is sustainable and cost effective.
Based on what you just shared, what are the hot topics that we should look to cover in the technical agenda at Coil Berlin? I know that you just shared a couple of hot topics. I don't know if you'd like to add on top of these ones anything else.
I could just perhaps reiterate, coil winding needs to be and remain topical and current. So the topics that are selected may differ from year to year. I think it is at this point in time of key importance that you cover the political agendas, the debates and progress on carbon emissions, legislation, policy, regulations, and subsidies, because I think a lot of your customers and participants will be impacted, and the subsidies will in fact enable them to pay for research and development. It will pay for new products, and it will enable them to launch them with success. So I think this is quite important. There is, of course, a political legislation environment, but there is also, very importantly, the element of innovation and product launch and product acceptance in terms of what you offer in Berlin. I think it's fair to say that not a single industry will remain untouched, and you can serve as a conduit in this process of change.
So moving forward, what you just mentioned about COVID effects, what do you believe the long term will be on the industry?
I think, to put it very shortly and very, very, very direct, I think uncertainty, I think restriction, I think risk, and the biggest challenges would be in financial viability and sustainability. And this is irrespective in what industry you are, you will definitely be exposed to these 4 or 5 elements. And it would be up to the management of that company to plot a way and formulate a strategy and an action plan to, in fact, capitalize on opportunities and steer ahead of threats.
It's challenging times indeed.
Absolutely.
And what has been your favorite project that you have worked on through your career? I think it's a tricky question after such an interesting and long career.
You have me smiling. I have done many things. I have worked in different industries. I've been a soldier, a diplomat, an academic lecturer, an entrepreneur, and a company executive in many industries. It's been freight forwarding and logistics. It's been international trade, engineering, and civil construction. I enjoyed working for industrial manufacturing companies. I enjoy a project that you see, that you help initiate, create, see, develop, and grow, and flourish, and ultimately, I think, achieve the objectives, the original objectives, why it was created. Herein lies my motivation, I think, to create, manage, coach until successful, and then perhaps sit back and to look at the success, provided, of course, it is a success.
Interesting. And we are almost ending. And I'd like to ask you, how do you see the all new Crime Advisor Board contributing to the success of Crime Berlin moving forward?
I think no institution, no entity is an island. It is surrounded by very often an ocean, and within that ocean there would be different currents. And I think choosing an advisory board that, in the prognosis or the sample or the example I've used of the ocean, that would be able to represent the various currents, I think is a good idea. They would be able to, in fact, share with you the movements within that particular stream or in that particular area. And this will enable you, I think, to remain topical. I think it would enable you to remain current. And I think would enable you to remain the most important venue on the European fairs and exhibition calendar.
Mhm. Yeah, nice to hear because definitely is one of our main goals with advisor board members. It's a pleasure to working with you, Chris, and the rest of the advisor board. It's an exciting time. Finally, tell us a bit about you outside of work. What do you do in your spare time when you get some?
Alexandra, I think, first of all, the sentiment is similar. It's likewise, I enjoy working with the professional staff at Coil Winding. You inspire, you motivate. And to me, this is very rewarding and self-fulfilling. What do I do in my spare time? This is a good question. I would love to say I read, um, and I participate in all kinds of cultural events. This is partially true. I do tend to read, and I do like to go to the theater, and I do like to go to the opera. But I do own a Harley Davidson motorbike. So with good weather, and we don't always have good weather in the Netherlands or in Belgium, I like to go riding on my motorbike. And like any Harley Davidson rider will tell you, you probably spend half a day polishing the motorbike um, to spend another 2 or 3 hours riding it. So a lot of time, particularly in good weather, is to prepare for rides and to enjoy the fresh air. I also occasionally enjoy a good cigar and a good cognac. So this is how I prefer to spend my lazy days.
Fascinating. Mainly with the, I must say, with your Harley Davidson. It was, I must say, it is a surprise for me. I was not expecting that, so it's always interesting.
Yes, no, I must tell you that I think, being in the engineering industry and being involved in that also gives you the interest in, the mechanical engineering. So it's also the sense of freedom, getting out of the office, getting into the environment and into nature.
Mhm.
And the Harley Davidson does have a certain appeal. And for me, this is one of the most enjoyable times I have. And if you are on the road, it gives you also the time to clear your thoughts and think about other things. And it often gives you a different perspective. You're out for an hour or 2 hours and you come back and you feel like you've almost had a mini holiday.
Yeah, I can imagine. And being outdoors now, it's
Absolutely.
always it's fast.
Absolutely. Going to gyms, and working out. This has not been possible of late, and I do enjoy working out occasionally. Um, so you have to find alternatives, and riding the motorbike is indeed this alternative. It's one of the few privileges which we still have, and which has not been curtailed under the COVID period and the regulations.
Thank you, Chris. Lovely to talk with you, and I'm looking forward to meet you in person in Berlin in May.
I look forward to that, Alexandra. Thank you very much for this opportunity and keep on the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.